Hey everybody, it's Tyler Austin from Midgard Strength and Conditioning, and this is just going to be a brief review of the 6-hour P365XL. Now this is going to come from the viewpoint of a Glock guy, so some background for you guys who probably haven't watched my channel at all. I'm a big Glock 19 guy. I've been carrying a gun every day of my life since I was, since I was 18 years old. And the overwhelming majority of that time, I have been carrying a Glock 19 of some sort. Started with Gen 3s, obviously, then eventually Gen 4, and now this fairly newer Gen 5. And this is the first one I ever had a dot on it, so this is an aftermarket slide, so I could mount a dot on it. So I've been carrying a Glock 19, like I said, 90% of the time I've been carrying a gun. Long time. And I've always loved the 19 and the 19 size of pistol. Not just 19. I mean, there's a lot of good pistols out there. But I've always liked the 19 size. So the 15-round, compact size type of guns. And, you know, the 19 kind of being the standard, if you will, in that kind of arena. Not just for concealed carry, but for really just general purpose use, concealed carry, duty carry outside the waistband like a battle belt or whatever, and so forth. It's just always been like my go-to pistol and my go-to size of pistol. So big fan of this, and like I said, I've just been carrying this for nearly a decade. Well, 19 for nearly a decade, not this particular 19, but like I said, I've been carrying a Glock 19 for almost a decade now. So big fan. I've always been a big fan of these, obviously. So why did I get a 365XL? Why did I want to give it a shot? Well, it's actually probably not for the reasons that most people would get something like a 365. Most people would probably get a 365 because it's a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter, probably a little bit easier to conceal, and at the same time, you're still maintaining a pretty high capacity. I mean, this is a 12+1 capacity as opposed to 15+1 on the 19. So you're only losing 2 rounds, depending on whether or not you top it off or not. So smaller package, lighter package, while at the same time, you're maintaining most of your capacity. And obviously, though, it has those merits to it, and those are absolutely good reasons to get something like a 365. In this case, a 365XL. However, that's not really the reason why I got it. I mean, those are advantages certainly, but that's really not the reason why I've got this. Like I said, I've been carrying a 19 for almost a decade now, and I find a 19 to be extremely comfortable to carry. I've never had any problems concealing it. So I've never had any problems concealing or carrying or comfort-wise with a 19 size gun. Absolutely not. So that's actually not the reason why I got this. The reason why I wanted to try a 365XL was actually probably not for the reason why anyone would actually get a smaller gun, is because I wanted to see whether or not I could actually shoot this better than a 19 size gun. Now, that might be a little weird to some people, considering that generally speaking, especially most men, can shoot a 19 size gun or a full size gun better than they can a smaller gun, because they get a little bit more purchase on the gun. There's just more grip to grip, and they can typically control the gun better. Not because they can get a better grip on it, but also because it's a bigger and heavier gun, so naturally it's going to mitigate recoil a little bit better. So most people can't shoot these guns like a smaller gun. Well, again, most men especially can't shoot a smaller gun as well as they can the bigger gun. However, for me, because I am a midget, I'm a staggering 5'3", so I am not a tall guy. And to go along with that, I do not have very big hands. So a Glock 19, although I absolutely love the size of it, has always been a bit of a fat gun for me to grip, especially with my support hand, because obviously the support hand also has to wrap around your primary hand. So my hand has always been I guess, more open than necessarily I would have liked it, so I don't have as much mechanical advantage to really squeeze down and bear down on that gun, especially with my support hand, as most average sized males can. So as a result, I've never been necessarily the best pistol shot. Now, I'm not by any means a bad pistol shot, but I've never been like the most accurate and the most fastest shooter, pistol shooter out there. Again, simply because I just can't mitigate and bear down on the gun as most people can. Again, I'd shoot Glock 19s just fine. It's just, I just can't shoot them generally as fast and as accurately as a good, well-trained, average-sized male can. So I wanted to see, going back to the 365, if the smaller gun, the smaller frame, would allow me to get better mechanical advantage on the gun, allow me to bear down better on the gun, and therefore shoot it a little bit better. Kind of shoot it like how most people can shoot like a full-size or a compact-size gun. So that's really why I got this pistol. And to tell you the truth, I absolutely love this thing. I really love how it feels in my hands. I really do feel the benefit of having that smaller grip, because now particularly my support hand, I'm able to close it a little bit more, and I'm able to bear down on that gun a lot better, as opposed to the 19. So far I really like it. I've been doing a lot. I've had this for about a week now, and I've been doing a lot of dry fire with it, and I've put about 300 or 350 rounds of it through it so far, and it's performed absolutely flawlessly. I've ran both steel cased ball through it, brass cased ball, and also 2 different types of defensive loads that I like to use, some older defensive loads that I had. And it's functioned absolutely flawlessly, and I have absolutely no complaints with this gun. I really like it. I mean, this very well might replace my 19. I mean, I really like this gun, and I really feel, I guess you could say, more confident shooting this gun because I'm able to bear down on it better. I'm able to control it better. Now, it does feel a little bit more snappy than a 19 would because, well, it's just a smaller gun, not as heavy, obviously. So that just comes par with the course when you're dealing with a smaller gun like this. It's going to be a little bit more snappier than a compact or a full-size gun. It's just the nature of the beast. However, I feel like I can control it better than even my 19 because, again, I just get a better grip on this gun. I'm able to, because it's smaller and I have smaller hands, I'm able to bear down on it better. So some things just going off with some of the features. I mean, this is going to be like a tabletop, so I'm not going to talk about, all the features and stuff. There's billions of different videos out there on that. But some things I really like other than just, the entire grip width of the frame. I really love this trigger. This trigger I really like. It has a very clean break to it. Very nice trigger. And I really like this flat trigger as well. It just feels nice. I do really like that flat trigger. And I feel like I'm able to get down lower on the trigger. So I'm able to kind of grip it down lower, like down here, which I generally like because it just gives me a little bit more leverage on the trigger, and I feel like I get cleaner breaks than being up higher on the trigger. So the flat trigger allows me to get down a little bit lower on it. And I also really like that 90-degree break it has. It has a 90-degree break on it, so it breaks at the 90 degree. Overall, I really love this trigger. I find this is a very excellent, just from the market or from the manufacturer, out of the box trigger. I really like this trigger. Now, I'm not a trigger snob by any stretch of the imagination. I know there's lots and lots of trigger snobs out there. I'm not one, but I will say if a trigger sucks or not. But this trigger absolutely rocks. I really like it. I believe it probably breaks around 4.5 pounds and maybe 5 pounds. So it has a very good clean break, and like I said, I really like it. Out of the box, the sights are fantastic. Has this really nice neon green front sight to it. It's also tritium, and the rear sight is basically blacked out, but it does have tritium inserts, so in low light conditions, you actually see it really well. So I do plan on dotting this pistol. I'll probably get a dot for it sometime in July. I'm probably gonna get a hollow sun 407K for it. That's what I plan on getting because red dots are life. But if I was just gonna run the irons on here, I would absolutely have no. I would have no desire to replace these sights at all. I actually really like the sights on these. Typically, you know, if I get, particularly in Glocks, it's just part of the cost. You have to replace the sights. But on this gun, I would keep these sights if I was going to primarily use the iron sights. Moving on from there, the gun ran very, very well. It shot accurately, and like I said, I put about 350 rounds through it. Just some targets, if you care to see, you know. It shot just fine, and most of these were from about, I don't know, 7 to 10 yards away, something like that. Shot just fine, had no problems with accuracy with it. Again, I really, really like the trigger. If there's anything that I don't like, I mean, it's really hard. I mean, like I said, I really like the gun so far. I haven't gotten a holster for it yet, so I haven't been able to carry it. I have a holster coming, so, you know, once I get that, I definitely do plan on carrying it, just seeing, I guess, how I feel carrying the gun. But in terms of like actual complaints, I mean, I guess there's two complaints I can have. One, and this really isn't necessarily the fault of the gun, but the trigger guard's a little small, so probably in wintertime when I'm wearing gloves, particularly like really thick winter gloves, I'm probably going to have difficulty getting my trigger finger in there. But then again, you know, Glocks suffer from the same thing. You know, you don't have, it has a little bit more room than this, has a little bit more room than the SIG here, but Glocks kind of suffer from the same thing, really kind of that small trigger guard problem, so sometimes it can be hard to get a glove finger in there. But again, it's just kind of par for the course for a smaller gun, so it's just kind of like something you kind of have to accept. Other than that, in terms of the gun itself, I really have no other issues. It's a SIG, so coming from a quality name, like I said, I put about 350 rounds to it. I had absolutely no issues with it, so I trust its reliability. Obviously, I'm going to shoot it quite a bit more, so I do have problems with it. You'll know. I'll definitely be sure to make a video on it, but it's a SIG, and it's the XL. I know the 365s, the early ones, like the Gen 1s, had their problems, but the XL is because they're bigger, and just bigger guns don't have as many issues as particular small guns. There have never really been any problems with the 365XL, but they have fixed, from what I hear, the 365, the smaller version of this, the primarily like the striker drag issues and all that. By the way, I did look at cases. There were no issues with striker drag on this gun, so absolutely no issues with that. Now, I'll roll in some pictures, too, of different casings, and you can check for yourself. I mean, there's always a little bit of striker drag when you're dealing with smaller pistols, but it's well within acceptability, the amount of striker drag it was getting. Like I said, I'll roll in pictures. Really, my only major complaint with the gun is, and again, it's not even necessarily the gun, it's not even the gun itself. I really wish SIG, instead of providing two 12-round magazines, provided a 12-round flush fit magazine, and I really wish their second magazine came as a 15-round extended magazine. Kind of like how the Shields came, right? The Shield, it came with its flush fit magazine, and the second magazine you got was an extended magazine. I really wish SIG did the same thing, because these magazines are goddamn expensive. I think the 15-round magazines are like 50 or 60 bucks a pop. They're damned expensive. So I really wish they came with one flush fit magazine, and the spare magazine was a 15-rounder extended. I think that would just make more sense, because if you're going to carry a spare magazine, I want it to be that 15-round extended magazine instead of just another 12 flush fit mag. Yeah, so that's really probably my biggest complaint. So SIG, start adding in those extended magazines into your box. It'll sweeten the deal a little bit more, instead of having to buy another one of those at 50 bucks a pop. So yeah, that is my review, my quick review of the 365XL. Like I said, this wasn't meant to be just like a tabletop or anything like that. Just to give you my quick experiences with it. from, like I said, being a Glock guy my entire life, which I do, assuming everything still goes well with this gun, I definitely plan on carrying this, and this probably, again, assuming it stays reliable and all that, will probably become my main carry gun. I would definitely still carry my 19 on occasion, but again, assuming everything still goes well with this, this will probably become my primary carry, especially once I put a dot on it. Yeah, so I'm very, very, very happy with this pistol. So if you're like someone like me who has smaller hands, maybe you're a female, or you're just a smaller guy like me who has smaller hands, and you're looking for a gun that carries roughly the same capacity as the 15, but in a smaller frame that you might be able to grip better and control better, definitely take a look at these and give it a try. Maybe go rent one at a local shooting range or whatever, and give it a shot. You might find this smaller frame to be quite beneficial to you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and informative. I'm Tyler Austin from Midgard Strength and Conditioning. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, informative, and entertaining. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, or follow depending on where you're watching this. You can follow me on Instagram at Tyler_MidgardStrength, and I am also on Zion. My two community pages are Midgard Strength and Conditioning and Gungnir Strategic. You can scan their respective codes here or search for them on the community search page. If you like my strength and conditioning content, check out my podcast, the Classical Strength Podcast, available on all major podcast platforms. Finally, if you would like to become stronger and healthier than you've ever been in your life, consider hiring me as your coach. I offer the most effective and personalized online coaching in the industry. So if that's something that would interest you, visit my website, midgardstrength.com, or you can email me directly at tyler@midgardstrength.com. Thanks for watching.